Hi everybody. Good morning. It's Sunday morning. Sunday morning. We still have hot coals in the burn pit from Friday, or the burn pile from Friday. And it's been raining for 12 hours. How's that? That's not what we're here to talk about though. What we're here to talk about is not the siding I need to fix on this old house either. What we're here to talk about is generational wealth and inheritance. Why in the world does that have anything to do with preparedness? Well, for the same reason anything else that I talk about, leadership, business building, practicality, pragmatism, has anything to do with preparedness. Because it's a mindset. That's what it has to do with preparedness. It's a mindset. And so I want to ask you to consider a few things. What is your inheritance? Not just physically, right, but mentally and emotionally. What have your parents done for you or to you? And I'm not saying to get emotionally hung up over the past if it was bad, or even if it was good and now it's no longer good, right? Stuff happens. Believe me, I've been on the receive. I don't know what happened. My phone turned itself off. So stuff happens, good or bad. You have learned lessons from your parents. Hopefully you've inherited lessons from your parents, how to act, how not to act, what to do, what not to do. I had some great examples from my parents of what to do and what not to do. And you can't be traumatized by the stuff that they did that they shouldn't have done. You got to get over that. You shine light on that and say, I will never do that when I have children, which is part of how I parent, is knowing the things that my parents did that I would not do with or to my kids, right? But you have an inheritance from Squid just texted me. It just popped up on the screen. He's talking trash. So what up, brother? Thank you. You have an inheritance from your parents, right? What are you leaving for the people that come after you? What is your gift to the generational wealth? What example are you setting? And why is that important with preparedness? We're going to get there. Number one. Again, I talked about it's a mindset. Okay. It's raining. It's been raining. We're outside working in the rain. Because it needs to get done. So a leader should always be seen. Kids do what their parents do, right? What we were just talking about. Stop texting me, Squid. You're breaking my concentration. All right, so a leader should always be seen. Well, it's out here in the rain. Well, by my kids seeing me out here working in the rain, doing not hard things, but just things that need to get done, they understand that sometimes, even when it's raining, you got to get things done. Y'all hear the thunder? That'll be a good one. I should stand under this tree. That's recommended when there's thunder and lightning, right? Stand under a tree. Right, so you lead by example, whether it's your children, whether it's your crew at work, whether it's your teammates. You lead by example. And you shoulder the burden. You bear the responsibility, even if it's raining, just go do whatever needs to get done. Now this is not a big thing here. This is not combat, but it sets an example. Why is that important? Mindset. There is nothing that's too hard. I'll show you. See this trailer right here? This trailer was stacked about this high, full of lumber. Lumber that came from a shop. that burnt down. Quit texting me, Squid. And I unloaded it this morning. And it wasn't a little bit of lumber. It was this much lumber. These are 2x4/8 and cutoffs. These are 2x4/10s. And these are 2x8 16s and 24s. They got a little bit of weight to them. And then a bunch of fire blocks, spacers. So you see all this lumber. I did that this morning because it needed to get done. Not because I'm a super tough, awesome guy, but because it needed to get done. And my kids, all three of them, hung out with me while I was doing it. And I've set the example for them that sometimes, even though it's raining, you have work to do, you do it. So I would just encourage you to think about the example that you're setting for your children, for your coworkers, for your boss, yes, even for your boss, for your teammate, for your whoever you are with or under or over in life. What are you doing to establish an inheritance, a mental inheritance for your progeny and for the people you leave behind when you're gone? And also an emotional and ideally a spiritual inheritance. You have a spiritual inheritance. Some people know it, some people don't. And I could say, well, that's another subject for another time, but instead I'll just encourage you to go watch some of our other videos here. Watch, there's just Google Torah. So, whatever. Like it, love it, hate it, whatever. You have a spiritual inheritance. Think about your mental inheritance, your physical inheritance, your emotional inheritance. What are you doing to the people around you? How can they be better because of you? What about mitochondrial DNA? Y'all ever do any research on that? The mitochondria in your cells that convert calories into adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy that your body runs on. They are the little power plants of your cells in your body. Your mitochondria learn and they remember and they pass that on for generations. Give you an example. I've always been called to the woods and been called to carpentry growing up. I mean, you see where I am. I just showed you a trailer full of lumber, right? Do I need to make it more apparent? I've always been called to this. Well, I own a tree business. I cut timber. I've been doing carpentry with my grandfather on my mom's side since I was a little kid, who has since passed and is keeping my grandma company in heaven or the afterlife or whatever you want to call it, Valhalla, whatever, pick your poison. But I've been doing this my whole life. And I was in my dad's backyard in Oklahoma, which is family property, has been for 100 years. And there's a big saw blade back there, about 7 foot diameter, circular saw blade. And I said, what is this? Other than the obvious, I know what it is, but how did it get here? So that was your great-grandfather's. I said, yeah, your great-grandfather and your grandfather cut all the trees in this area, milled all the trees into lumber, and built all the original houses and businesses in this town. Okay. Now I understand in large part why I am drawn to this. And I learned later, they say it's in the blood. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Your mitochondria learn. There are people that are deathly afraid of the sea for no good reason. Come to find out that their great-grandfather was a sailor and he fell overboard and almost drowned. The body remembers, and you pass that on as part of your physical inheritance in this world. And it changes, is the thing to understand. If you're lazy now, get unlazy. Pass that on, right? Pass on good things, not bad things. What does this have to do with preparedness? Right here. This, the mindset. Because if y'all haven't figured out yet, this channel, above all things, is not so much about technique. It's not so much about gear. It's not so much about product reviews or tactics or strategies or, you know, high speed, low drag, operator stuff. All that stuff's great. It all has its place. This channel is about this and this and this. And getting that squared away. Because the best equipment in the world doesn't matter if you're not properly trained to use it. And if your mindset isn't squared away. So, what does any of this have to do with inheritance? Or I'm sorry, with preparedness? You're gonna pass who you are onto whoever comes after you. Right? Ecclesiastes, Kohelet, or whatever his Hebrew name is, allegedly Solomon. This is all vanity and grasping for the wind. You know, what does it profit a man? He doesn't get to see the fruits of his labor after he's gone. Some other guy just takes it over. Yeah. But wouldn't you rather leave it better than you found it? Wouldn't you rather do something positive and interesting and helpful to other people rather than something that causes them to have to do more work, more struggle, more strife? Why are you preparing? Most of us, it's because of our family and our friends. It's because we want to be in a good position to help the people that we care for if and when they need that help. That's a mindset. And being concerned about your inheritance and the generational wealth, what you are passing on. And I don't mean wealth this, although that's nice. But that can be as much of a curse as a blessing. I mean wealth here and here and here, right? That's what I mean by wealth. What lessons are you teaching your people? Be thinking about that. What example are you setting? How are you leaving this better than you found it? What does your stewardship look like? Because having a $300 bushcraft knife doesn't matter. It just simply doesn't matter. If you're not a good enough person, then nobody wants to be around you when the world's ending. Having a rifle that you can shoot out to 1,000 meters and hit consistently with, yeah, that's cool. Doesn't matter if you got no good reason to sit behind it in an overwatch position. Knowing how to harvest game is great, but it's gonna suck after a while if you're the only person sitting there at your campfire eating it. So, you get my point. What are you doing to leave it better than you found it? What is your generational wealth outlook and mindset? How can you be better today than you were yesterday and better tomorrow than you are today? And are you doing the hard things to set a good example for the people that are watching you? And they are watching you. Everybody's watching you. Just like everybody's watching me. What are you doing to be better? There's your ear nugget for the day. Shalom.